Alaikum and a very warm good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Let me begin with the developments in the Gulf region and the state of affairs between Iran and the US. We note with concern the security situation, that the security situation remains precarious despite the relative calm of past few days, which had rekindled hopes that this positive development, this calm, would consolidate into a durable and fully respected ceasefire and pave the way for dialogue. Amid the prevailing tensions and hostilities, Pakistan reiterates that dialogue and diplomacy remains the only viable path forward. We welcome all efforts aimed at sustaining cessation of hostilities and resumption of dialogue between Iran and the United States. Pakistan is engaged and will continue to play its role in this regard. Let me add that the negotiations between the parties are ongoing to normalize the situation, particularly the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, and as well to de-escalate. We are doing utmost to bring the parties back to the Islamabad MOU so that all irritants can be removed in the light of the spirit of the Islamabad MOU and the Pakistan-Qatar joint statement of 22nd June. We encourage the parties to exercise maximum restraint and fully adhere to their commitment to resume technical level talks for the implementation of the Islamabad MOU in line with Pakistan-Qatar joint statement of 21st June 2026. Last week, in this vein, our Prime Minister, His Excellency Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, spoke with His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. During the call, both the distinguished leaders agreed to continue working very closely to maintain regional peace, stability, and the uninterrupted flow of lawful maritime commerce through the Red Sea as well as the Strait of Hormuz in this wider region. Following up on this important telephone call, and 2 days later, on the 25th July, the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar, held a telephone conversation with the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. They discussed the latest regional developments, reaffirmed the close and brotherly ties between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, and underscored the importance of continued diplomacy and constructive engagement for regional peace and stability. On 28th June 2026, the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, held a telephone conversation with the Jordanian Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Mr. Ayman al-Safadi. The two leaders discussed the worsening situation in Palestine, condemned Israeli actions, and emphasized coordinated diplomatic efforts and reaffirmed their commitment to regional peace and security. And yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, you all covered the visit of the Foreign Minister of the State of Kuwait, His Excellency Sheikh Jarrah Jabir Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah. He was in Islamabad for an official visit at the invitation of our Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister. This was an important visit, both in regional context as well as in bilateral terms. Pakistan and Kuwait reaffirmed their strong and long-standing bilateral partnerships, agreed to deepen cooperation, particularly in trade, investment, energy, IT, agriculture, education, health, and other priority sectors through sustained high-level engagements and establishment of the joint working groups. The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister welcomed Kuwait's ratification of Pakistan-Kuwait Defense Cooperation Agreement, describing it as a significant step towards strengthening institutional defense ties and collaboration between the two countries. The two sides also exchanged views on regional and international developments and pledged to continue coordination at multilateral forum and reaffirmed our shared commitment to further advance this important fraternal relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, last Friday, the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister participated in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council for Foreign Ministers meeting in Kyrgyz Republic. He reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to the SCO Charter, regional connectivity, peace, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, as well as the China's flagship Belt and Road Initiative, while we inviting and also invited the SCO delegations to the Commonwealth Heads of State Summit that is to be held in Pakistan in 2027. On the sidelines, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister met the Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan, China, Iran, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Tajikistan, and he also called on the President of the Kyrgyz Republic, the host of this event. He also conveyed Pakistan's readiness to assume SCO chairmanship for 2026-27, and the consequence of that, as I mentioned, would be the holding of SCO Foreign Ministers Conference in the middle of next year, and followed by the SCO Heads of State Summit towards the second half of 2027. Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister also met 2 days ago with the U.S. congressional delegation. It is a 33-member delegation from corporate U.S., the business delegation. This was on the 28th of July. The DPM highlighted the positive momentum in Pakistan-U.S. relations and reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to strengthening bilateral ties through enhanced parliamentary engagements, economic cooperation, and people-to-people exchanges. Turning to developments in Palestine, on 24th July 2026, the Foreign Minister of 8 Arab Islamic countries, including Pakistan, issued a joint statement strongly condemning Israel's action and restrictions in Jerusalem, particularly concerning the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They called on international community to uphold international law, protect the right of Palestinians, and preserve the religious and historical status of the holy city. And the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, Senator Mohammed Ishaq Dar, held a telephone conversation with the Foreign Minister of Egypt, Dr. Badr Abdul Ateh, and Palestine issue was discussed in detail. The two foreign ministers expressed grave concerns on the situation in Palestine, calling for an immediate end to hostilities, unhindered humanitarian assistance, and respect for international law, and also discussed coordinated diplomatic efforts in support of the Palestinian people and emphasizing dialogue to preserve regional peace and stability. Whilst on Egypt, let me also inform you that we issued a press release on this also, that Pakistan and Egypt held their 10th round of annual bilateral consultations virtually last week. The Pakistani side was led by our Additional Secretary Middle East, Mr. Tahir Hussain, while the Egyptian side was headed by Assistant Foreign Minister for Asian Affairs, Ambassador Amr Hamza. The two sides reviewed bilateral cooperation and agreed to further enhance engagements in trade, investment, education, culture, science, people-to-people context, and also reaffirmed their commitment for strong regional coordination and cooperation in multilateral issue. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, moving to a subject which is close to my heart and as well close to my other hat of as arms control, disarmament, and international security. On 24th July, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in collaboration with Comstec, launched the first issue of the Journal of Science, Communication and Diplomacy for 2026, marking the second year of its publication. The journal provides a platform for diplomats, scientists, academics, and policy practitioners to engage in discourse at the intersection of science, technology, and international relations. The inaugural 2026 issue featured 11 articles, including 7 authored by the officers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. There's one article also by by our Foreign Secretary, Ambassador Amna Baloch. Let me also acknowledge the editorial and compilation work of Dr. Muhammad Adil, our Deputy Director in Actus Division, who was instrumental in bringing this publication to the fruition. Copies of the journal, I believe, is available here, so please pick it up if you are interested in this subject. With this, I conclude my opening statement and open the floor for question answers. Thank you. Ji, Anas.
Thank you so much, spokesperson. Sticking to the issue that's close to your heart, on Actus, there's a documentary.
On Actus?
On Actus, particularly. There's a Deutsche Welle documentary or a DW documentary that has been critiquing Pakistan's nuclear program at large. And we've seen that the so-called invited experts as well, they've critiqued on it as well. Your comments on it, on the documentary which has been criticizing Pakistan's nuclear program at large.
Yes, we have seen this documentary. Pakistan rejects this misleading documentary aired by the DW, which is nothing but the regurgitation of hackneyed and speculative commentary and biased sourcing. The documentary reflects either a profound misunderstanding or a deliberate disregard of the history, evolution, and rationale of Pakistan's nuclear program. By lending a platform to such poorly sourced and one-sided content, DW risks undermining its own credibility and reputation of professional fact-finding journalism. Responsible journalism demands rigorous verification, balance, and context, not amplification of recycled conjecture and unfounded insinuations. DW must uphold these tenets and exercise greater editorial responsibility when reporting on issues with far-reaching implications for international peace and security. Pakistan has full confidence on its robustness of its command and control architecture, as well as comprehensive technical, legal, and institutional mechanism governing the nuclear safety and security and our wider nuclear program. These arrangements meet the highest international standards and have been consistently acknowledged by independent international experts. Thank you. Pakistan TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Shiza Hashmi, Pakistan TV Digital. So 2 days ago, the government of India banned our X and YouTube accounts in India. What does the ministry have to say about
Banned, I'm sorry?
Banned our Twitter, X and YouTube accounts for apparent reasons. What does the ministry have to say about that?
Does it surprise you?
Not really. We were actually expecting it way before, but I mean, it's always...
Well, the decision by the Indian government to block access to social media accounts of Pakistan TV Digital, as well as other social media accounts, is entirely in keeping with its established pattern of suppressing information and peddling an officially sanctioned and carefully sanitized version of the so-called reality through applied media that it has in its own country. Factual reporting has no place in the captive ecosystem prevailing in India. The frequent lapse into escapism exposes India's deep intolerance for independent voices and its increasing reliance on repressive and restrictive measures as instruments of state policy. Let me add that the international community, including representative media organizations, should take full cognizance of the Indian government's curbs on the media and the shrinking space for free space in India. Thank you.
तर्जुमान दफ्तर ख़ारजा ताहिर हुसैन इंदराबी की हफ्तावार न्यूज़ ब्रीफिंग। उन्होंने कहा कि ईरान और अमेरिका के दरमियान सिक्योरिटी सूरत हाल बाइस तशवीश है। चंद रोज़ के अमन के बाद ख़ित्ते की सिक्योरिटी की सूरत हाल फिर से गैर यकीनी है। पाकिस्तान ईरान और अमेरिका के दरमियान मुकालमे के फ़रोग़ के लिए अपना किरदार जारी रखेगा। उन्होंने कहा कि भारत आज़ाद आवाज़ों को दबाने के लिए जाबराना और पाबंदियों पर मबनी इक़दामात पर इन्हिसार कर रहा है। आलमी बरादरी और मीडिया तंजीमें भारत में आज़ादी इजहार पर कदगनों का नोटिस लें। DW की दस्तावेजी फिल्म गुमराह कुन है। पाकिस्तान इसे मुस्तरद करता है। तर्जुमान दफ्तर खारजा ने कहा कि DW की दस्तावेजी फिल्म पुराने बयानिए के आसराइयों और जानिबदार ज़राए पर मबनी है। दस्तावेजी फिल्म पाकिस्तानी जौहरी प्रोग्राम की तारीख, इर्तिका और मकासद से लाइल्मी पर चश्म पोशी है।
विहाड़ी के अवाम को बेहतरीन सफरी सहूलियात मुहैया करने के लिए ग्रीन बसें फ्राहम कर दी गईं। वज़ीर आला पंजाब मरीम नवाज शरीफ ने वीडियो लिंक पर ग्रीन बस सर्विस का इफ्तिताह किया।
मजीद बता रहे हैं विहाड़ी से बहादुर हुसैन।
वज़ीर आला पंजाब मरीम नवाज शरीफ की हिदायत पर जिला विहाड़ी को भी 11 ग्रीन बसेस फराहम कर दी गई है। खुर्शीद अनवर स्टेडियम में होने वाली तकरीब में वज़ीर आला पंजाब मरीम नवाज ने वीडियो लिंक के जरिए ग्रीन बसेस सर्विस का